yeah, regarding the news in Web3 in blockchain. So Twitter released their own decentralized version of Twitter. They have just released their first batch of code. I'm talking about Bluesky. Um, and what George says, I mean, I'm just reading the question. So, as I understand, they separate posting and who sees it through a speech and reach model, and it encompasses content moderation. So, can you maybe compare this to how the Tea Party TApp operates? What are the similarities? What are the differences?
Mm. I I don't know too much about the decentralized Twitter what they did. I actually know very little about that. It's probably this is the first time I heard from you just now.
Oh,
Uh,
really?
in general, yeah, in general, assume I understand that correctly. In general, if any centralized company they produce a product and claim it to be decentralized, they usually makes no sense. Usually makes. I'm not saying 100%. I'm not saying that, but I mean usually makes no sense. There is a strong reason behind that. As a company, Twitter, for example, it's a it's a company want to make money by producing their products. Well, there are many ways to make money, right? They're doing advertisement, selling software license, or just selling user data. There are many business models. There are many, but all of them have the same like intention is to control the user as tight as possible, no matter who. Like Twitter, Facebook, they really want to hold their user as tight as possible because that is assets, right? User is assets. Let's say if we are making an application, we are fully decentralized. We're not a company. We do not care or do not really want to hold the user because we are fully decentralized. And that platform will be significantly different than what Twitter or Facebook made. Is the user has their full control of their own data, and they can move freely. The user owns everything. That will be a fundamental difference. I'm pretty sure no matter if Twitter or Facebook, if they make something application they call the decentralized, maybe technical it is decentralized. Technically, they have a service that owned by others, but who own the data? That will be very, very fundamentally different. If user has a fully control and user can go anywhere without losing anything, and the company, I mean Twitter for example, the company knows nothing about user data. The company has no control of the user data. The company has no censorship on anything of the content in the platform. That will be considered fully decentralized. If any of the item I just mentioned was no, then I will say that is not fully decentralized. It just use the name decentralized, but still doing the centralized management.
True. I also feel like they are mainly marketing it as decentralized because in one of their official statements, they mentioned that social media is not possible without moderation. But if there's moderation, it means that somebody owns the data, that it's not fully decentralized. So it's I really,
There are controversial
yeah.
opinion on this. Some people say, well, human has to be controlled by others. Well, there's one kind of people, especially from the dictators or whatever kind of that kind of a country or social, they will say people are stupid. We have to select or elect someone who is in control on top of anyone else to control everyone. He will decide what you're supposed to know, what you're not supposed to know. This is one type of people they think that way. Another kind of freedom people. They want freedom. They consider everyone has their right. Like the right was created by the God. So they have the right to know what they're supposed to know, what they're not supposed to know. They shouldn't be someone on top of everyone else telling me what I'm supposed to know. They are two kind of business. I'm not saying which is better than other. I'm not saying what if I gonna choose, I would choose the freedom. I want people to have will, their own will to decide what is supposed to, what life they're gonna live. It's not by someone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the majority of people who are in the Web3 space, they would select freedom. That's the
It's not
ultimate
easy.
goal.
It's not easy. Just
Mm-hmm.
like back to we talk about history. We long talk history. So before France big revolution, or before United States become a country, there's no such a democracy in the world yet at that
Mm-hmm.
moment. I mean,
True.
all of the country, no matter it's a Western or East, the countries are either empire or a king, whoever control other people. Until like the back to the France big revolution, and after the United States become a new country, the democracy will be started. It started from that moment that people can choose. They choose to be free without control by any other people, and the people can. Well, it's not a fully decentralized yet, but at least it's better than people ruled by a king or an empire. It's better
Of
than
course.
that. But right now, I'm still saying it's not good enough. People still want to make fully freedom. Even the government, we don't want. Even we can elect. Well, hopefully, we can elect. Some in some other country, we probably cannot elect. There's no voting. But the people want. Is it a better way since the technology is so advanced today? There must be a new way to manage our self life without doing the what happened 300 years ago. People using voting, that is a one way, but not the best way. We probably can do better using the technology we have today. We should have a better way to manage not only a corporation, but also how to manage the human resources. Society resources. That is what Web3 long-term goal. It's kind of philosophy, the reason why we define, for example, why we invent internet. Originally, people invented that because they want every computer can talk to another computer without any central authorization. That is the beginning of the internet. 30 years ago, probably 20 years ago. But what happened today, it's not what they think. It become most of people just have a browser or just have a phone, and the information was controlled by few tech giants. Most of them in Silicon Valley, 10 miles from me. That is not what the original design of internet. Right now, everyone computer, for example, the phone, every phone, no matter it's iPhone, it's just like a $300 cheap phone. The phone has the powerful CPU and all the processing power. It's 100 times higher than like 20 years computer. It can be a supercomputer if we have such a phone 20 years ago. But we didn't use the power. We didn't use the power of the phone. We just use it as a browser. We get the information from the tech giants, and we entertain ourselves and sell our data to the tech giant and make those guys get richer and richer. But why don't we use our own computer? I own the computer. I should have the data in my computer. I should have the right to control what I own. This is the principle of Web3.